We want to wish everyone a belated Memorial Day because I didn't get a chance. You guys know I do my show on Mondays, but since we're home and we're doing it remote, I'm doing it every day. So we keep talking about the year of the woman, the woman, the woman, the woman. Boy, do I got a woman for y'all. Okay. So without further ado, I want to introduce the Women Are Worthy show welcomes Miss Angelia Pressley. She is a candidate for District 4 Cobb County Commissioner's seat. Welcome, Miss Angelia.
Thank you for having me, Jacqlyn. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being, because we know you're busy. Your primary is right around the corner, literally right around the corner. Thank you for taking the time to be on the show. So we mentioned that she's running for the District 4 seat. Miss Pressley, can you please tell us a little bit about yourself? I know for those who don't know you, they're under a rock because everyone knows who you are. But for those who don't, the little bit of people that don't know who you are, tell us about yourself.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say that. That's why I'm here, Jackie, so that more people can know me. I moved here in 2007. Of course, I was looking for a home, and South Cobb was still affordable. So I was really happy. I'm a cyclist, and I saw that I don't even have to put my bike on my car, and I could just roll down to the Silver Comet Trail. I was sold, because that's how I spend a lot of my time. And of course, cycling, and you have a lot of time to think. And I had been in business, I believe 15 years by that time. I've been in business 23 years. I have a PR firm, and it gone through lots of changes. And so I started to get engaged with, just the South Cobb Business Association, and just started to meet many people, and really just got engaged because I wanted to, of course, work where I live. I had been in Atlanta, and I was looking to plant my feet in Cobb County. Had heard some great things. And so that's how I came to be here, and just kind of found my way, and have a sense of place here.
Well, welcome to Cobb, and I'm glad you chose Cobb, but I didn't know you were a cyclist. I didn't know that.
Yes. I started out on a mountain bike, and then I went to the hybrid. Now I'm on a road bike, and I can bike. I mean, I love going to, I'll usually typically do 34 miles. That's a good trek. 25, 34 miles is a good trek to Terra Drummond, if you know where that is.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yes.
that's good so were you a Lance Armstrong fan, that kind of a cyclist, or just leisurely, just for exercising? You weren't into the Tour de France or anything like that?
No, I just found, I had started biking about a year before I moved here. So I lived in Atlanta, and Sandy Springs. And so I would just use that area to bike. And then I got here, and I discovered the Silver Comet Trail and all the beauty. And of course, I love nature. I grew up around a lot of nature. When my parents, they would leave home, we weren't supposed to go to the creek, but we would go to the creek and swim and do all this thing. And then, I'm originally close to Myrtle Beach, so spent a lot of time by the water. And so just an outdoor person, and love nature, love breathing clean, fresh air. That's my thing. So,
Well, I could tell you're in PR because I see the colors. You're so coordinated. I'm looking at the sign behind you, and I see you're so coordinated. The colors you have on. Good job. I like that.
Red is my favorite color. And navy blue is probably the second one. And so they just happen to be, colors of the flag, but I love red and blue. So you probably see me wearing a lot of red and blue.
Yeah, I like that. So, Angelia, you can do a lot of things, okay? Why are you running?
As I said, as I got engaged with the community, and this seat opened up, my business is a lot of issue and crisis management. So companies call me when they have problems, and I'll develop a strategy for them. And so this seat is just it's intuitive for me. I've been working with the community. I love the community members. I've been president of the president of the Kiwanis Club of Greater South Cobb. I got to know families and friends that way. I was involved with, or I am involved with, the South Cobb Business Association. And then I've done a business with so many corporate entities. And I know that in our area, we need that kind of comprehensive strategist that I am. And I'm the oldest, so you just have that sense. I just have that sense of responsibility. If it's something to be done, and I know that I can get it done, and I was like, okay, we got it. We have to meet this challenge. And I just see so many opportunities. I always have seen just so many opportunities for South Cobb, and I want to be that conduit to get us there. I have many relationships. I've developed those over the years being in Cobb, with workforce development, with the Chamber of Commerce, with, as I mentioned before, with South Cobb Redevelopment Authority. I did the rebranding campaign, and I've also worked with a lot because of the initiatives that I do. I work with a lot of the county parks, libraries, and I've just had, just good relationships. And I believe those relationships, that kind of trust, is what we're going to need to get that kind of investment that we need for our families and jobs.
Okay, so I just got off the plane and I want to move to Cobb County. I don't know where in Cobb County. Why should I move to South Cobb?
Well, that really does depend on your interest, but South Cobb right now is still one of those areas where it's not overrun. You know, you can still relax a little bit in South Cobb versus being in Atlanta. It's, on 24/7. But South Cobb is a place where you can plant your stakes, and the people are very welcoming. I mean, I say where I am now because I was welcomed here. When I got here, I had people show me the ropes, show me around. And so it's a very welcoming place where people are very engaged in improving and bettering their community. That's what I was really impressed with. I'm like, wow, this is a sense of home. You start to, and the circumference is not that large that you keep running into the same people. You develop
Mhm.
relationships with those people, and then there are just people you can call for anything that you need. And I mentioned the tourism, the outdoor, because I'm an outdoor person, outdoor and nature-based tourism. You have lots to do. And I don't think our residents, they understand that, because we haven't really shown that to them in a way that they can embrace it comprehensively in a package. And so I would say we're still not overrun with traffic. We have a lot of people, we have a lot of activism in the area. We have lots of things to do, and we're building. You can be on the ground floor, is what I would tell people. You can get on the ground floor and have a huge impact in this area, Cobb and South Cobb in particular.
Okay, 40, you're elected and 45 calls you and says, you know what? I am going to, if you have three things on the table, what three things can I assist South Cobb with? Angela, this is the president. Your wish is his command. He'll only give you three. What three things would you like to address, or what three things would you want from him to make South Cobb better?
Okay, so you know that we could possibly face a deficit. We don't know what that is yet. In 2008, we were left out of the bailout. I'm not completely left out, right? But we got the least amount of dollars commensurate with what we experienced. We had the most damage in 2008 in the recession. So I would ask him um, for the stimulus package, just to be sure that we could take care of our families in a way that we need, and everyone could keep their job, or at least have supplements to their incomes until we got back on track, until we knew that we were safe in getting our industries off the ground. That would be probably my first request, to make
Mhm.
sure we got that stimulus money that's supposed to be coming down, and lay out our budget and why we need it. I would do that. The second thing that I would want is that we would have more incentives for our small businesses, right? Because what I think we don't understand as small business owners, you and I, and all those small businesses out there, is we matter. We matter. We matter as homeowners, and we matter as small business, because with the county, $19 million is collected through those fees. So giving small businesses those opportunities that we need to be successful. I talk about the SBA, and one of my plans is to have a workforce development center. I don't know if you know Luther Washington, but he has two sites, and I've spoken with him about having a workforce development center there with a business incubator where we could bring in resources so that we're not isolated from each other. We can come together and pool our resources. So I would ask the president for more resources and support for our small businesses. The other thing that I would ask for are those investments that we need here. I would ask him to shine a spotlight on South Cobb so that we can get those businesses off the ground, or those employers that would be significant investors and significant employers for our families. We know sometimes, and this is a direct correlation with our schools. Sometimes, sometimes we hear things about our schools that are not necessarily true. They're slanted because we need our families, we need our parents to have sustainable incomes. And if he could shine a light on our land values here, them still being something that we're a place where investors could come, and we could have a significant employer, and particularly renewable energy. I've asked him, in terms of those jobs, make sure that we have jobs related to renewable energy, biotech, which our interests already, healthcare, but shine a light on our area so that we would attract the type of investors that we need, that would give us job, but also maintain that clean air and water that we enjoy, that we want to continue to enjoy.
Thank you. Okay. I can't just leave small businesses out. I can't just talk about small businesses because I know I'm going to get a lot of emails about this. Nonprofits. Nonprofits, I have to talk about them. What do you see in the future once you're elected? What do you see for the smaller nonprofits? Because I'm constantly on phones with people and they're saying that, our nonprofit doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And they're providing a lot of resources for the families in South Cobb. So what would you say, what would be your vision for the smaller nonprofits out there?
So I do know a lot of those nonprofits, and I'm so grateful. We're such a philanthropic area. I mean, I knew that coming in. And so I see individuals working together. I mean, working. I know I can say with the Kiwanis Club, we just welcomed a new nonprofit into our organization. And we were so happy to have them, because I think this is important for us to pool our resources together, in ways that, in any way that we can work together to pool those resources. But I believe those nonprofits, we can see more than ever that they are essential services that we have to continue to support. Now, the county got $132 million from the CARES Act, and so $1 million of that is gonna go to the nonprofits. And so I'm so happy that they're getting the support. Now they can, of course, it's dedicated specifically for food, but that's what they've been doing. They've been providing this food for all of these people. And, I know it's been a huge drain on their budget, because let's face it, with COVID, there's less resources that individuals have to give to them. So this is the time where government is needed for the nonprofits, and so they can take that money and they've been creative. I know some nonprofits, they've been very creative with the small amounts. And so imagine when they get funded, oh, they could really, really, really. So I would say we would all come together. I would want to be together. I would want to meet with all of the nonprofits together and just take inventory. What are we doing? What are we doing that are the same? How can we partner together? How can we make a bigger impact and not feel like we're competing for dollars?
Well, what I was doing, I was looking down, I'm typing that in because, okay, Cobb County received $132 million. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
And of the $132 million, 1 million is being awarded to nonprofits,
right.
correct?
Yes, they
So,
get to say, they get to submit their budget of what they need, and it hasn't been approved yet, but it's already dedicated for them. So it's just a matter of those individual nonprofits getting their portion of that.
okay, the next thing on the line that we need to talk about is transportation in South Cobb. Where do you
Yes.
stand on that?
Transportation is something, okay, so we DOT is working on these dedicated lanes, right? And so that's an investment. That's a huge investment that we can use. So we know we already have that, right? So there are a few options available to us. One is the BRT. That's the bus rapid transit. And we could get like a gold standard where it looks like you lived in New York, right? And I worked in New York for a time. And so trains sometimes, especially with the subway. Now in DC Metro, little better. But sometimes I think what happens with transit, people are like, oh, who wants those trains with those oily trains? But if we have bus rapid transit, and we set up the infrastructure where down the road, if we wanted to have light rail, we could do it. Now, so I don't know if people know this, Smyrna is kind of ahead of the game. And what
Yes.
they're doing is, yes, so they're creating these lanes that are going to be beautification projects in areas that might not look so good. And so Veterans Memorial is an ideal place. If we wanted to have bus rapid transit, we could transform that corridor through bus rapid transit. It's not rail yet, but we could transform it because it would take that curbside appeal. They would have to put they would have to have the buses go down those dedicated lanes and feed into those lanes. And so it could be this whole beautiful beautification project that makes us look more like a planned community, which I think we should. But you know, I want to say that it's not up to me totally. My job as commissioner is not to have personal attachments to the point where I can't see what's best for the community. My job is to serve you and to make sure that I roll out a plan for you, that's a community engagement, so no one is left out. So when I did this rebranding campaign, it was totally random. And by random, that's a good term in research because it means that everyone has a shot at their ideas being heard. And so that's what I would do. I would roll out these options. So I told you there's rail, there's bus rapid transit, and there's something called it's like over the road. It looks similar to what your bus rapid transit would be, and it would be more profit centered. So the issue a lot of times people have with transit is, oh man, I'm going to have to pay so much money. It's going to be a lot of money out of my pocket. But even if we had to pay up to a penny, and you have to stop me if I'm going too fast, but
This is your show.
okay. But even if we have up to a penny, the plan would be to get us to have a strategy where we would retire any type of bond that we might get. And I'm not saying we do, but we retire it before 10 years. Maybe in 6 years we retire, and our our passengers pay. They're not paying a lot more than what they already pay. That's not the point. The point is to make it profit centered so that if the entire county wanted to buy into it, they would be comfortable buying into it because it's profit centered. It's not something that they have to pay on forever and ever. And so, I'm a fan of the gold standard BRT, where the buses look like trains almost, and they're pretty. They're pretty.
Okay, let's talk
But
about
but
this.
but the infrastructure would be there if you wanted to go to rail later, just so you
Okay.
know.
How can we, because we have Cobb County and there's a stigma about South Cobb. How can you help remove that stigma? Because we need to remove it. We're all Cobb County, and you and I both know there is a stigma there. How can we make everyone embrace South Cobb into Cobb County?
Well, are you saying you want it not to be South Cobb?
No, I want it to be, there isn't a stigma attached to it. Because it's almost
Right.
like South Cobb is the stepchild of Cobb County. So how can we help embrace and remove that stigma?
Well, Jackie, I'm glad you asked that question because my background is tourism. So before I started my business, I spent 3 or 4 years in tourism in Myrtle Beach, and it was my job to promote the area, right? The various aspects. And so one thing I think is really very important is for us to have a portal with an identity where people can embrace it. So we don't really have that now. We started, now we're down the road for it. When I worked on the rebranding campaign, we gathered all the data. What do people want? Everyone said, okay, they were proud of the Silver Comet. We're welcoming. And so we settled on we're a welcoming place. So we have our logo. And we've gotten the landscaping down there at Six Flags. And so we
Mhm.
got that. The wayfinding signage is coming. Now, what my company I've been working on is a strategy and a plan for a portal so that we have an identity. I believe just based on that data that came in that we're welcoming, it would be a welcome to South Cobb, and it would be based on outdoor and nature-based tourism because you have everywhere you look. I mean, oh my God, Powder Springs is getting this beautiful park
Yes.
now in
Yes.
September. And so then there's Riverview Landing in Smyrna. It's water. It's on the Chattahoochee. You can row there if you want to. Georgia Tech's rowing team would use that as for practice. We have Sweetwater Park. There's a lake there. We have the Silver Comet. We also have Mabel House Amphitheater, which is outdoor. Powder Spring is going to get an outdoor. So we really have enough inventory that you could spend 7 days. Now I started it. I started a little bit of it. My company started a little bit of it with the Taste of South Cobb. The Taste of South Cobb really was designed to let people know what we have of value. And as we start to talk about that value in our identity, that's how you build ambassadorship. If I know it, if you say it, and the next person is proud of South Cobb, that's how we change it. That's how we change the stigma. And if you hear me, I always talk so positively, and I've always talked positively because I know it's within us to change it. You can change anything you want to change. You just need to put the effort in. It does not have to stay that way. And so I'm counting on you. I'm counting on everyone to help change this by speaking highly, but we're going to give you the tools so that you can speak highly of the area. So you have a place to point people and say, no, that's not true. Look at this. We have X, Y, and Z, and you should come here. You should come here. You should want to know about Campbell High School. So this great high school. South Cobb has this particular program. And Pebblebrook has this one. We're a great place. Our schools are wonderful. Our schools are great. And then talk about the outdoor and nature. But so in this portal, we would have our land use map, our comprehensive plan, all of our zoning laws and policies there, so that when developers come in, investors, they know who we are. So if we don't, if they see who we are on a strategy, on a strategic plan and a comprehensive plan and a vision for who we are, then they're either going to want to come here or they're going to say, oh no, we're not going to get through that gate because they already have a plan. But the beauty of that plan is if you're a small business or an investor, you go, okay, I see where I fit there. Let me contact the chamber, and from there, let's get a tour of South Cobb, and let's see how we can invest and contribute to this area. Because as I said, we are kind of ground floor. We're just really poised to be great. We're poised to be great, being just 15 minutes from Atlanta. We have all of these connectors to 285, to 20, I-20, with Eastwood. I mean, you can get here from anywhere you can think of. 285,
Mhm.
east, west,
True.
and north. You can get into South Cobb easily.
I mean, that's true. And see, for me, I wasn't in South Cobb, but Michael Murphy
You
asked that
did.
I come into South Cobb to do our show. And that's where our studio is. We're in Austell. I did my first women empowerment series in Austell. So I'm familiar with all the parts of South Cobb. And I think it's really, it changed my mindset. So I think I'm an unofficial ambassador for South Cobb because I'm constantly talking about the land and the park that's coming out there in Powder Springs and the amphitheater. Was I supposed to say that yet? That's
Oh
coming out
yeah,
there as well.
it's on its
Okay.
way. Mhm.
Okay. That's on its way.
Henry Luss sits on our board for Kiwanis, so he keeps me
Okay.
informed a lot of things with what's going on in Powder Springs. And I watch too. Sometimes I go to the Board of Commissioners meeting, but when I'm not there, I'm watching it. So you
Right.
know, and one another exciting project we have is Discovery Boulevard. There's going to be a huge park. And so that's a gateway. We have Six Flags as a gateway. We have and Discovery Park is going to be another beautiful gateway for us. So people are going to be, I say people are going to be clamoring to come here. We're going to be a coveted area if we take the next right steps. If we
Oh,
elect
we have a
the next.
question. We have a question. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we have a question before they zone out. Zena Castro says, how will you incorporate the arts, Atlanta Ballet and Opera through travel and tourism? And I know we have a performing arts in Powder Springs. So how will you incorporate the arts? And she has some other questions.
Yes. So, one thing I keep talking about tourism. I talk about tourism too because that's a part of our budget. The SPLOS, the taxes people pay when they come here, those are our SPLOS dollars. Those taxes go into the SPLOS fund, and it's a big fund for the entire Cobb County. However, um, that money, we can use those tax dollars for art. I have been talking to someone who in the film and entertainment industry, arts and entertainment, so that we get them to come. I mean, I would be that commissioner who is a recruitment person, because I mean that's just my business background. I build relationships for my clients too, so I'm always here or there talking to one company or another company. And a lot of when I'm out there a lot for my clients' sake, I'm talking about South Cobb. Why don't you come to South Cobb? Why don't you come to South Cobb? So that's one of those industry, arts and entertainment. And it's not about me, but I'm a huge arts and entertainment. I'm a huge
Me
arts
too.
person.
Me
Yes,
too.
I'm huge.
Well, here's the good thing. Here's the good thing, Angela. I was on a conference call last week with the president of the film industry. I can't remember her name. And I asked her, I said, what's Georgia? We know they're in Georgia, obviously, because she's the president. And I asked her, what county is the best county? And I said, I'm not going to pressure you to say Cobb County, but she said Cobb County, was one of the best. It was one of her first counties that she started when she became the president, but they love the scouting. And I think South Cobb will be ripe for the picking for this because there's a lot of land out there. There's so many opportunities. And I like the fact that, you're thinking about going to the tourism because a lot of people don't understand in that seat, you have to make that connection with the tourism board and the president of tourism. I can't remember her name now. It comes to
Holly,
mind. Right.
Quinlan.
Holly. Yeah. So, and you have all those connections. So I remember when I first moved here, what Smyrna looked like then and what Smyrna looks like now. And
Mhm.
that's what I see for South Cobb. I see South Cobb because right now everyone's saying Smyrna is on that level, that track, and I see South Cobb becoming that way. I
We are
really do. If
too.
they have the right vision, if I see the right, if you have the vision, which you do, and I'm like, girl, she's sharp. She is sharp. I'm thoroughly impressed, Angela. Not that I was going to be disappointed, but you have the vision because I don't want to make it
Yes.
seem like, you have the vision and you have the execution and you have the background as well. So here's my question. If someone's out there and they're like, okay, what should I do? I'm on the fence. Who should I vote for? One, why should they vote for you? And what do you need in order to knock it out of the park?
What do I need? Okay. Well, one, you boiled it down perfectly. I have the vision and that comprehensive vision. And the vision is one thing, but I also have that heart too for the community. So I'm not going to let the community down. I'm not going to let you down. I mean, in my entire career of being in a business, and just so you know, I spent some time in corporate before I became a business, not to give it all away. You know what I mean? So I spent time in corporate and I've had a business, so I understand, but I understand there that both sides of the value. So I have that vision with the compassion and the know-how and the educational background to execute it. I've worked on very large projects for my clients. They asked me to do something and I followed through. If you go and look on my business page, and if you ask any of my clients, they'll tell you that I'm a person who follows through. Now, sometimes you can't do everything that you want. And in government, I know that's going to be difficult for me, being on that seat because I'm used to getting things done, right? But I've also worked on boards where sometimes there's give and there's take. But those business conversations in terms of value for value, Georgia Power, you're important, and so are we. We're important, you're important. Connecting the dots. I understand that through issue and crisis management. I understand that, okay, here's the issue, but it's not just an issue until you solve the problem. I'm a problem solver. And so, and as you said, that kind of comprehensive, the heart plus the experience and the educational background, I think you would be able to win with me. You'd win with me.
And a project management person, because that's really what's needed here. So
It
you have
is.
all of those. So when should they vote? Give out your information so they could know where to vote, not where to vote, but just remind them when the primary is and things like that.
So the primary is June 9th, and that's voting in person. Yes, and you can go to the democrats.org and get all of the locations. But one thing we are encouraging is absentee ballot voting. Right now, if you've received your absentee ballot, you can complete it. Well, you're supposed to get the application first. If you haven't gotten that, you should go to cobbelections.org and get that downloaded. If they promised it to you, please continue to email them until you get the ballot, because I've heard that, okay? But once you get that ballot back, go ahead and complete it. Some of them come with sleeves, some of them you have to just tape up, right? If you've already completed it, right down there on Austell Road where you get your driver's license is a drop box. There's also early voting. Early voting started already. It started at Whitlock. It'll go through Whitlock, which is 736 Whitlock Avenue, until the 5th. On June 1st, for our area, the Riverside Epicenter is going to open up. And that's going to be your early voting location from the 1st to the 5th. And then the polls, of course, will be closing to the 9th. You can vote in person on the 9th, but we do encourage you, just because our seniors are the people who really man the polls, and they're not going to put themselves at risk. And I can't
Mhm.
blame them, right? But if
Mhm.
you vote, however you decide to vote, just remember, see that name back there? See that name right here? Remember Angela Pressley? However you decide to vote. You can also learn more about me in details and more about my platform and my policies at Press Presley. That's real easy to remember. PressPresley.com is where you can find out all the details about me. You can also reach me at the number you find there. It's 678-744-3862. I am open. I want to hear from you. I want to know what your concerns are, because if I know what your concerns are, we can all work together and we can build South Cobb together. We can do it, guys. You can help. We can do this. You can help. And I so look forward to working with you.
So it's www.press.presley.com,
Yes,
or were you giving the
PRESS
Mhm.
PRESSLEY. So the
Sure
first part
did.
of my, yes.
Sent that out. Bam, it's out there.
Thank
What?
you.
And you slipped something in and you didn't think I noticed. You said, when I'm elected, you're speaking positivity into that,
Yes,
positive
yes. I just,
affirmation. That's right.
yes, yes,
So
absolutely.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot about you during this conversation that I didn't know before. The fact
Oh,
that you're a cyclist and other things that you're doing. And I think it's commendable that you're running. And again, we thank you for being on the Women Are Worthy show. We're definitely going to send this out. And if there's anything, any additional things that you need, just let us know. But we really, really, we're honored to have you on. Like I said, I'm thoroughly impressed. I really like what you're doing, and may God continue to bless what you're doing, and all your bountiful blessings. So, without further ado, we want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy show. And tomorrow, I'm going to have a young lady. She's an author, and her book is dynamite. I'm not going to say anything until tomorrow, but Thursday, you guys definitely have to tune in. I'm going to have Angela Bassett's stylist. She's going to be on the show, but she's going to be on the Instagram show. Now that I'm remote, I'm doing Instagram. I'm doing all the shows. I'm covering every territory. So without further ado, thank you for tuning into the Women Are Worthy show. Don't forget
thank
to like and
you.
subscribe our pages. The Women Are Worthy show on Facebook, the Women Are Worthy show on Instagram, and the Women Are Worthy network on YouTube. That's right, we're on YouTube. Miss Angela, have a wonderful day. Have a terrific Tuesday, okay?
Thank you so much, Jackie, for this platform.
You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye bye.